Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I know it has been quite the summer and I owe you this recap video. I am quite literally surrounded by toys, all the great pickups that I've come across in just the past 2 months, starting in June. Now, I got a lot to go over. I picked up a lot of stuff in my travels between Texas all the way to Florida. So, starting up, not technically a toy, but a piece I could not leave behind at this garage sale. Got this amazing Puppet Master statuette of one of my favorite of the puppets, Blade. Now, interesting story behind this piece. I went to a garage sale of people who I've known for quite a while in Texas, and in the past I picked up a lot of comic books, so much so that they actually didn't have any at this garage sale anymore. But the lady of the house was showing me her Disney collection, which she sells piece by piece, and in the corner was this guy. Kind of stood out amongst all the vintage Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Winnie the Pooh stuff. So I asked her if he was for sale, and she said absolutely. So I couldn't leave it behind. He still has his numbered instruction set inside, and it's quite an amazing statue that I was debating keeping, but it's such a huge box. It would take up so much space. So I've already tried vending with this particular piece, but it hasn't been picked up yet. So hopefully in the near future it can find a good home. Next up in my travels in Texas, I went to an amazing estate sale with my folks, and the pictures just blew me away. Everything vintage in this time capsule house: books, military memorabilia, vintage toys, and there seemed to be some comic book stuff along with models and cards. So I went in there, made a beeline toward the vintage toys were, and just started filling my bag. And see, there's some of the pieces I picked up. First up, we have Yoda's Dagobah playset piece. Of course, very incomplete, but really cool, really cheap, so I couldn't leave it behind. And next up, we have a few real Ghostbusters pieces, which I have never really come across in good shape with all the decals on them, so I had to pick them up. PK meter, if I'm not mistaken. Part of the trap, which I'm not sure if it still works. And the Ghost Popper. Now, I have one of these already, but not with the 3 firing pieces inside. So I picked this one up, really good shape with the decals on both sides. 2 other pieces that were quite unique in this house were this sealed Bart Simpson bot bag. Now, I remember in the 80s there were a lot of these things based on a lot of characters. I remember hunting for the Godzilla one, but this one was a piece I just really couldn't leave behind. It was sealed, and it was a pretty decent price. I think it was only like 10 bucks, and the comps on it were pretty good, so couldn't leave it behind. And the last one was quite unique. Here we have an unopened bag of Rambo Black Raspberry bubblegum. I know, why did I pick it up? I remember these nostalgic countertop gum and candies. I have never seen one still sealed and in decent shape. And the interesting thing is, it still smells like black raspberry. So can transmit that through the camera, but just take my word, I couldn't leave this behind. Interesting enough, it still has the price tag of 39 cents on there. So yeah, it was coming home. Now, I mentioned there was a lot of comic book type books. There were many Overstreet guides, but when I looked over the house, I couldn't find any actual comic books. So somewhere near the middle of being at this sale, a buddy of mine called me over and said the organizers of the sale actually found a few of the comic books during the sale. I don't know whether they intended to hold on to them or they just forgot to put them out. So he showed me the books and asked me if I wanted some of them. He was going to take some of them too. Let me show you what I got. Here we have some impressive Marvel Star Wars newsstand books. In really, really good shape. I see the condition here. Got a couple issue 2s. 7. I don't think any of these are really big keys. 7, 8. Interesting, there's a lot of doubles. 9. 17. 19. 20. 20. And another 20. Okay. Then does have 3 of these. 24 and 25. But probably the best find out of that stack was, of course, this. 2 copies of issue 1 newsstand and immaculate condition. I gotta show it to y'all. Really consider grading it, considering its condition. Now, this one is actually the more damaged of the 2. There's actually a little scuff right there. I don't know if you guys see that right there. And the other one is probably the best shape for grading. So, probably my best comic find of the past 2 months. I haven't ever had a chance to pick up this particular issue of Star Wars. I missed it once or twice in the past, getting to sales too late. So, very happy to come across it this summer. So, I'm going to go around showing you all the other pieces of the hauls I got in kind of chronological order, because between Texas, Louisiana to Florida, I picked up stuff here and there through state sales, garage sales, Facebook Market pickups. It's kind of a recap overview of everything that a toy hunter, vintage collector can find throughout the course of a couple months. So, stay tuned. So on my return to Louisiana, I got lucky with this Facebook Marketplace pickup of over 30 TMNT figures. Now, a various assortment of vintage figures and a few modern ones. Majority of them are all there. There are a few missing an arm or two. Unfortunately, no accessories, but they are a nice start to getting some figures together. A few highlights are Chief Leonardo, Construction Mutation Leonardo, which I've never seen before, and the highlight, Frankenstein Michelangelo. Now, I don't actively hunt for the Universal lines, but I will hold on to them if I come across them. So I'm going to hold on to Frankenstein here, put him next to my other Universal monster figure, Mummy Raph. If I do come across any of the other ones, I will hold on to them. I'm always on the search for, of course, the Leonardo Creature in the Black Lagoon. I would love to come across that particular figure. but it's nice to know that the value of this figure here pretty much takes care of the whole lot. Next up, we have my score from a garage sale in Florida. I originally was drawn to this ad because it listed comic books and other collectibles. When I got there, there were several short boxes full of reader books for $4. Went through them all and picked out this nice little stack. Just looking for titles that I don't see too often. Got all three of the T2 comic, Tarzan, some 90s Spider-Man, Marvel Presents. He had one Conan in there. Already got this one, but couldn't leave it behind. Total Recall, more Tarzan, new and old, some old horror, Weird War, monsters. I couldn't leave this behind. X-Men vs. Dracula, why not? An Uncanny I didn't already have. Some Turok Gold Key. I just thought that was a nice cover. Guardian of Gotham, Catwoman. Red Sonja. I like the cover on this one. Korg, Tomb of Dracula, and some Bernie Wrightson. More Tarzan. Going through these kind of reader boxes, I'm looking for titles that I'm just familiar with, because I know there wouldn't be anything too crazy in there, but I'm gonna find books with characters I like. Tarzan, this nice little House of Secrets, and another horror, Unexpected. Also, moves out of the way. In the collectibles, I got this. A box full of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Zords, weapons, random figures, all sorts of Super Sentai collectibles. Some of them well beyond my years when I kept up with Power Rangers, but we're a decent price, and this box is full. I know they're missing a lot of their accessories, but they're all still there. I'll put a picture up of everything kind of laid out, but so many little pieces, so many little weapons. Here are the two of the characters I got. But always on the lookout for vintage Power Rangers, especially the ones that I remember. Out of this whole box, I'm keeping probably the oldest stuff. Got two of the Thunder Zords. And one from the, I want to say Ninja Zord. I know he was in the Megazord that had the wolf, crane, frog. I want to say bear. It's supposed to be the red ape, if I'm not mistaken. But a nice find. I love these lots of 90s figures. They're just so much to go through and kind of piece together. But still, for the price, I think I paid like $40 for this whole box. $40, $50, I can't recall. And hoping to sell it as a lot to a Power Ranger collector. Okay, next up, before I crack open this tote, I want to remind everybody about a sale I went to last year, hosted by Mr. Glenn, a toy dealer who deals in just about everything. Die-cast, action figures, dinosaurs, you name it. So last year he ended up selling me a tote full of Transformers, which I pulled out, Swoop, and a bag of Battle Beasts. So you might imagine since that time I've been asking when the next sale was, and that happened 2 weeks ago. So I went to a sale on the first day. I think it was a Thursday morning, if I'm not mistaken, and he kind of nudged me towards this tote, and he confided in me he'd been setting aside for this sale for me to look at to see if I wanted to be the one to buy it. So I'm going to crack this thing open and show you everything that he has set aside for me. Okay, here's everything from that tote. Of course, the thing that draws the eye first is Castle Grayskull back here. It's got the throne and one of the gun turrets in it. And we have some pieces from Snake Mountain, oddly enough. The slime pit, missing the head. And I want to say this is from the Hall of Justice. I'm not sure what that cardboard insert is from. But these are really neat here. I've never seen these before, but as you can imagine, they're from child's Halloween costumes. We got Hordax crossbow and the Skeletor scepter. Pretty rare pieces I've never seen before. And we have quite a random Donald Duck plush. A vehicle from the Air Raiders or Air Commandos line. And a few pieces from Motu vehicles here. Some TMNT pizzas. A Joe vehicle. I want to say that part's from a Joe vehicle as well. I can't remember. But these are interesting right here. I had never seen this particular accessories before. I had to do research, but all these right here are Centurion accessories and battle packs. That's going to come into play just a second. I found out this was a piece of a Kenner Bat Cave, and by far one of my favorite is nearly complete Swamp Thing Swamp Trap playset. I've had pieces of this before, but it never included like the actual Venus flytrap, a flower thing, or the tree. So this is quite the upgrade. And along with that, I found another piece I've been looking for a while. A 1984 Gizmo. I know it's not quite the same as the new ones that are out right now that look similar to the movie, given that this one's got the craziest eyes you've ever seen. But this is the original one. Let me see it on there. And I've been wanting to come across these for a while. So when I saw this in the tote, I paid Mr. Glenn what he wanted for the tote, and I was super happy to come across this and this play set. Okay, believe it or not, a few days after that amazing pickup with Mr. Glenn, I came across this awesome garage sale haul. And I want to send out a special thanks to the seller and new subscriber, Miss Anna, not just for subscribing, but messaging me back and letting me know her garage sale is going to have all this amazing stuff in it and giving me the opportunity to pick it all up. So I don't even know where to begin. So we're going to start out over here. We got a Motu Battle Cat, a Leonardo in a mech suit, which I didn't know existed, a bunch of miscellaneous Marvel DC pieces, and a McDonald's Mario, McDonald's Bambi figures, this pretty cool Smurf bank, some McDonald's erasers, Berenstain Bear figures, Fraggle Rock, California Raisins, some random PVCs, Garfield, Muppet Babies. I'm not sure where these knights were from. I couldn't find too much information on them. I'm not sure if they're from a game or something. McDonald's Changeables, Voltron. I forget where these two guys are from, but they have that Motu He-Man look. Some Marvel Secret Wars figures, a headless He-Man, Chuck Norris, and I'm surprised I didn't have this already. This is the Fire Bat, if I'm not mistaken, from the Cobra Terradrome playset. Well, that's pretty cool. Got Rambo, and amazingly enough, just a few days after finding a lot of Centurion accessories, 2 Centurion figures, plus another helmet. I forget where these PVCs are from, but my brothers and I had these action figures. I remember them. Got a mask. I want to say Adventure People. And here we got some Joes. And some knockoffs that I've never heard of before. The only thing that came up when I tried investigating them was something called Demon Ranger. If you're familiar with these, let me know. None of the Joes had any weapons or anything, but that's cool to find. this lot. So I purposely left out the figures and things that are my favorite. First up, we got this dino which screams 80s and 90s. I remember having so many of these. They were always so easy to notice because of, usually it had like big teeth that were exaggerated for what would have been a plant-eating dinosaur anyway. And one of the main things that made me drive an hour plus to this garage sale this Saturday morning, the BraveStarr 3030. Now his tail was broken off, but I've never come across this figure. I've never seen it before in real life, and given the opportunity to buy it, I had to be the one to pick it up. Now, I know this figure is notorious for being very fragile. I know its neck does come forward for the transformation, but other than that, I don't try anything else with it. But it's still amazing. I surprisingly enough don't yet have a BraveStarr, but I got something close. I got his sidekick. And the absolute two best pieces that I found in the bags, because they were all in bags kind of like that, were these two little guys. My favorite two lines growing up, which are of course the hardest to find. We got a Dino Riders Rulon and a Battle Beast, complete with the rub. Don't know if the rub still works, but it was quite the cherry on top to finding these guys. I'm always on the lookout for Dino Riders and Battle Beasts and either accessories, and I come across it in this amazing haul at this garage sale. Thanks again, Miss Anna. Okay, so this is the only footage of me and my buddy Dustin at this great vintage toy estate sale. Unfortunately, my camera went into picture mode by the time we went in, but I've been waiting for this sale for weeks, and when I brought it up to my buddy Dustin, he was like, we need to go, and we need to ensure we're the first in line. So we arrived 4+ hours before the sale began, before the sun even came up, and we started the line. And as you can probably tell from the pictures, we had a lot of fun just waiting. And then by the time the people started showing up in line, we were all having a great time. And by the time the sale actually started, it became an instant madhouse because the room was so compact and the house was pretty small that it became pretty hard to move around. But being the first and second in line, we had our first dibs on what was in the toy room. So we grabbed what we could, and I'm about to show you what we picked up. So here's everything picked up at that amazing vintage toy estate sale. Starting on the Motu side, we got a couple of Land Sharks, the legs to the Spydor vehicle, and a bag full of Motu pieces. You might be wondering, why do I buy just a bunch of broken pieces? Well, there are a few accessories in there, and I wasn't going to turn this away for like $5, so I picked that up. I know all those parts go for a lot more if someone wants arms and legs of a certain figure. Jumping over here, we have this nice Star Wars clock, which unfortunately I haven't been able to get to work, but still pretty neat. Got a couple of Hordak figures. The harness to a D&D Nightmare horse mount, I think is what that's called. Got Lion-O. Leech with crossbows. I can't remember where this vehicle was from. Someone let me know down in the comments. And down here we have a vehicle or insect mount that brought back a lot of memories. When I was younger, I remember having one of the Sector line, but for a long time I've forgotten the name of that line. So whenever I talked about it, it was just the bug vehicles you could stick your hand in like a puppet. So the leg part is pretty good on this one, but I'm not going to risk it putting my hand in there and possibly tearing that up. The pilot, I think Spidex is what his name is called, Spydor. His pretty good. Usually when I find his figure, it's broken. And I got pieces of the mount saddle and 2 out of 4 of the wings, but unfortunately I haven't been able to get the mechanism to work. Few small miscellaneous pieces here, Soma Ninjas. I'm not sure what to call this little robot guy, but he's cool. And a Barney Eraser. Aquaman. And now onto the big part. This estate sale was robot heavy. As you can see, multiple Voltron pieces. Now, I was a fan of Voltron growing up. I think a lot of kids were. But I had missed all the toy line before my time. But I remember coming across pieces of it here and there. This is the most I've seen of Voltron in a pickup before. You got several right here, including the broken die-cast car one. Unfortunate, but still need my glue them back together and put them on my shelf. Same with this die-cast Voltron. His legs broke off. But one of the pieces that I didn't really know existed was this pretty cool Voltron watch. Never seen that before. Got a lot of other miscellaneous robot. I think there's some GoBots right here. And Transformers back here. Some interesting knockoffs right here. Some bug transforming robots. This one also turns into a helicopter. A lot of pieces that I remember seeing growing up. Here's all the miscellaneous Transformers pieces. I think most of them go to the Superion, but really awesome. Overall, I'm happy with what I picked up at this estate sale. As I might have mentioned earlier, quite the madhouse. Out of the first 10 people, I think 6 of us made a beeline for the toy room. I was just happy my buddy and I were able to get first picks and pick out what we wanted, and came across some cool stuff. So there you have it. Okay, everyone, so that's all I got for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed the recap of all the great stuff I found this summer. And if you like this content, I hope you will comment. Let me know what was your favorite. And I hope you will subscribe to help me grow this channel. So until next time, everybody, thanks for watching.